Hey, it's Michael Saul, but everybody calls me Tiny, so you can too. And this video is, are we finally ready to pause, plus a stock that is set up for a dynamic move. This is for the week of February 20th, 2017. It's President's Day today. I'm recording this on Monday the 20th. U.S. markets are closed. It's going to be a short week, only 4 days of trading, but the market has been rocking and rolling here. Nice coil here, gapped up out of it, paused, and then rocketed up. Now, let's talk about the sell signals. I am reading all over the place, people trying to call a top here, saying it's the time of the year, the best time for a pullback, and the price is X percentage away from the mean. Okay, look, the trend is up. That means that pullbacks should be looked at for buying opportunities. I do feel a pullback is coming. If you are aggressive in your trading and you would like to take a counter trend trade, you have to look for triggers. For example, Thursday, what date was this? Thursday the 16th, okay? There was a hanging man pattern, or a hanging man candlestick. So if that low gets taken out, okay, that's a short-term trigger with a stop above the highs. But it's counter trend, which means your targets have to be extremely tight, and you have to remember the saying, surprises happen in the direction of the trend. Meaning, since the direction is up, and since it's so strong on the upside here, a surprise that would come in is likely to happen to the upside. Sure, there could be downside surprises, etc. Great. But it is more likely to happen on the upside. That means if you are trying to short here, you can get taken out on the next day's open. You could be above where your stop was. So I'm not saying there's anything evil about trading against the trend. You want to counter trend trade. You want to be agile. You want to move in and out. Fine. Just make sure you're managing it very carefully. Okay, this isn't, okay, just get in the direction of the trend and let the wind take you, right? The wind is at your back, right? In my opinion, you should always be managing strict, but it goes another level when you're looking at counter trend trades, all right? I don't see anything that is telling us, like I said, that there's a sell signal here. Why I'm thinking that a pullback is coming soon is we're pretty stretched above the moving averages here. Okay, and you could see we don't really get that far without coming back, at least for a pause. Okay, the equity markets, the U.S. equity markets, the international equity markets too, they are mean reverting. That means when they get stretched away from their average, they tend to revert back to them. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this as, look, there's a pullback probably sooner than later. That pullback needs to be watched for a potential buying opportunity for yet higher prices to be seen in the market. Okay? That's what I'm looking at. That's the S&P 500. Here's the Qs. I mean, just completely rip-roaring here. Russell, okay, hit the high. Now they're consolidating. Still lagging a little bit chart-wise, but nothing sitting here saying, oh, well, this is the sign that, we're going to pull back. I love that. I read in an article, the Russell divergence is the reason. Well, guess what? It diverged a lot of the way up here. Okay, the small caps have been diverging. Here's the mid caps. They look like they're consolidating up here, and here's the Dow. All right, which, of course, in my opinion, is always the last place I want to look. And I know you have to look at it because of the 20K number and all that. But to me, I'd much rather look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell. And the mid-caps too, actually. So those four. So we are stretched here. I expect us to pull back sooner than later. If you're nimble, agile, whatever you want, aggressive, however you want to call it, there may be opportunity for a downside trade. However, if you're just looking to get in long, it could be very tough up here to just keep buying new highs. Very tough. You feel like it's musical chairs because one of these highs is going to be the one that leads to the pullback. So a safer way to enter is to wait for a pause or a pullback. And they do happen. I know, we've been straight up for the election. Well, here was a pause, here was a pause, here was a pause, and here was a pause inside the bigger pause. Here was a pause, here was a pause. So they happen. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 since the election. All right, so if you're looking for long exposure, you may want to wait for a pullback/pause. Okay, good. Semiconductors. Nice. They look like they want to move out higher. Here's Tanker. Here's NVIDIA pulling back to the 50-day moving average after clipping the new high. now pulling back. Is this done? Is this a 2B top, a double top? We'll see. The little hammer on Friday. Let's see if they could get a bounce going. Intel, yeah, got the nice bounce at the hammer. We talked about this in last week's video. You can watch that the hammer was here right by the 200-day moving average, but then you got resistance up here at the 50-day moving average. How about the banks? Okay, the banks, waiting for the banks to broke out. Yeah, that's goodly English. Waiting for the banks to break out. They broke out. Now they're on a pullback here. The usual suspects, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citigroup. Citigroup's lagging a little bit. Watch Citigroup if they decide to play catch-up with it. Here's Bank of New York. Okay, this was not a bullish setup, not necessarily a bearish setup, but not a bullish setup. Now, the nice pushback over the 50-day and now the pullback. See if this decides to catch up, if the banks continue up. Here's the broker-dealer. Very, very nice. Here's Morgan Stanley. Good. Goldman lagging a little bit, but still okay. I like to look at John Deere and Caterpillar. You can see John Deere with a test of highs, then this nasty reversal candle, kind of reversal candle. Let's see what happens if they break it and go, or if they decide to pull back. And here's Caterpillar. Okay, consolidating right under the highs. Let's see if this can break out. What about the Biotechs? Okay, the Biotechs, nice push up. Talked about Labu for those on the email list. And quite frankly, why aren't you on the email list? It's free. Just put in your first name and your best email address. You got to confirm that you want to get information from me, and I send updates. It's supposed to be a daily email, but I only really send updates a couple of times a week. I should really send them more often. But, I mean, with the market just going in one direction, there's not a lot to talk about. Anyway, well, a lot new to talk about. Sorry, there's always something to talk about in the market. But Rick, one of our members, Rick, had a question about Labu, the 3-time biotech ETF. I highlighted the triangle and talked about a 31-point move. So far, got about a third of the way there, but 71 would be the target up here if it gets there. Nothing saying it has to get there. All right, and let's look at it. We'll come back to the biotechs because I got a stock I want to talk about that's in that area. Here's the bonds. I get yelled at, hey, you don't go over bonds. All right, here's the bonds. So the bonds are in a nice consolidation here. And what are they going to do from here? Right? Is this bullish or bearish? Well, the answer is yes, right? It's bullish or bearish. Okay, it's wait to see which way it releases from. Now, based on chart position, the fact that it started up here in July of 16, came back down in December, this does look like a continuation pattern and does look like it wants to go lower. However, the consolidation puts us on guard for a push either way. Here's oil. Still just not doing anything. Just really, in my opinion, no advantage here with oil. And here's gold. I am still looking at gold for a potential pullback. I mentioned that in last week's video. You got a small possible double top up here into the Fibonacci. You got the 200-day if it continues to bounce. But if it can roll here and break 116, it could be on its way for a retest of these lows. Stock I want to talk about today is Momenta Pharmaceuticals. Nice name since it has a momentum pattern. Okay, very good. Okay, so that was I don't know if that was a joke or I don't know what it was, but it was an attempt at humor. So here is Momenta Pharmaceutical. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous coil. See if this can release to the upside. If it can, target on this could be into the 20s. It could be into the 23 area on this. So that's a pretty nice percentage move. Of course, wait for the break, make sure your stop's on, and make sure it's being trailed. Questions? Tiny at attackthemarkets.com. Sign up, get on the email list, get my intra-week updates, as well as notified about lots of cool stuff that will help you with your trading and any new videos that are coming up. Have a great week. Tiny at attackthemarkets.com, once again, with any questions. Talk to you soon.